Привет, substreamers, and welcome back to Substream News. Our first story this week takes us to Russia for a bit of an unusual trade deal. Before I tell you the contents of that story, please scroll down, click subscribe, and even like the video if you're feeling generous. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so for hundreds of years now, people have commonly used money to buy and sell goods. But before money, we used to use the old bartering system. I had 2 apples and I wanted a loaf of bread. Well, if I could find someone who'd sell me a loaf of bread for 2 apples, we'd do a barter exchange. Now, that still happens to this day in market economies around the world, but it's a lot less common. People want money so that they can sell their goods for cash and spend that cash on any goods they want. That's simple deal. So at some stage, every culture, country and civilization used this barter exchange system, but we evolved to use money. So why would countries revert to that system now? Well, how about international sanctions, difficulty exchanging foreign currencies, and just kind of logistical challenges that may arise along the way? They'd be pretty good reasons, and that's why Russia is involved in this story. Yes, Russia and Pakistan have agreed on a massive barter deal with no money changing hands, and here's the details. Russia provides 20,000 tons of chickpeas in exchange for Pakistan's 20,000 tons of rice. That's a lot. That's a big weight. Russia provides 15,000 tons of chickpeas and 10,000 tons of lentils for Pakistan's 15,000 tons of mandarins and 10,000 tons of potatoes. Now, you may remember, not long ago, we covered a story about the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They are the main BRICS countries. There are others in that group now. But they were looking to work together to introduce a currency called the unit. Well, that hasn't happened yet. And they've also looked into using cryptocurrencies. That's faced some hurdles too. And that's why BRICS countries are now looking at barter deals. Even China and Russia are looking at doing it too, but discussions are just on the table for now. Let's move on to the next story. And another story here about financial blockages. That's going to be a bit of a theme in this video, heads up. The Bank of America recently reported widespread outages that left basically their customers not able to access their funds and showing a big fat 0 on the screens where their balance should be. 20,000 people realized this error and made complaints, and it was solved pretty quickly. Now, why am I telling you about this? It's because it connects to a story we covered a few weeks ago. Link in the corner. We got some big numbers on this video. Essentially, there was a free money glitch from Chase Bank, and it turned out it wasn't a free money glitch. And go watch the video, find out for yourself. Let's move on to the next story. Don't skip that one. It's a really good one. So I'm often wondering, how do these banks that literally look after trillions of dollars and pounds and yuan and all sorts of currencies have some of the most glitchy and unreliable ICT infrastructure in the world? Are they really that secure? Is it not just better to look after your own money, especially if these banks go out of business? Well, at least in the US, blockages are usually accidental. It now appears in the UK that financial bank blockages, are intentional. That surprised me. They are intentionally slow. So currently, if the bank thinks there's something iffy or something untoward with your transaction, they can block it until the end of the following working day while they investigate it. Well, a new proposal, which is about to be rolled out, will actually now give them 4 working days to investigate transactions that they think are suspicious. Now, this is a kind of tricky position for banks because customers want instant transactions, but they also want to have their cake and eat it because they want to not be victims of fraud. And so how can the banks really win when their customers want both instant transactions and security? It's a really difficult question to answer. Well, if you're a UK viewer, those changes will take place at the end of October this month, 2024. So if you notice in November and moving forward that there is some change and that some of your transactions are going through much more slowly, this is why. Let's move on to the next story. So we've had sanctions blocking Russian trade deals. We've had American banks having ICT outages, and we're having UK banks trying to extend the window of investigation for suspicious activity. To add to that, we now have two of the world's biggest news and media companies, CNN and Reuters, launching digital paywalls. So it's a different kind of financial blockage. But yes, these guys are finally catching up with many of the other major media sites who want to sell their journalism. And they believe that by selling it and getting money and putting their content behind a paywall, they can actually increase journalistic integrity. I'm not sure. Okay, so how much? Well, CNN's paywall has been advertised as $3.99 a month. That's US dollars. Those who subscribe will receive exclusive election features, original documentaries, curated articles, and fewer ads. That doesn't sound like such a bad deal. That's $1 a week. If you're a regular CNN viewer or reader, that's a pretty good deal. Reuters, on the other hand, that's the world's biggest journalist agency, will allow readers to continue consuming free content, but a limited amount. So basically, after a few articles, it's going to prompt you to sign up. It's $1 a week. It's $4 a month, so it's 1 cent more expensive than CNN. They're going to start rolling this out first in Canada, then in parts of Europe, and later in the US. Now, the timing here is very interesting because we're like 5 weeks away from the US election, and they're choosing now to put content behind digital paywalls. This seems kind of odd to me, but I guess it is well timed because Americans in particular will be so keen to consume political information that they'll probably be willing to pay for the best content. Will a paywall allow them to provide the best content? I don't know because I'm not going to be paying it. Oh, I've also got a great quote here from Reuters president, Paul Bascobert. This is what he said, and I think this is actually quite interesting. He said, "Trusted, unbiased, agenda-free news is essential in an era rife with misinformation. This new subscription plan ensures Reuters can expand the reach of its award-winning coverage at an affordable price, while allowing us to further invest in our reporting and products for subscribers." That seems fair enough. Let's move on to the next story. And to finish on a lighter note, I absolutely love this story. Let's go back 25 years. I was 7 years old and a new cartoon launched on TV and it was absolutely epic. It was about a yellow sponge and his neighbors, a moody saxophone playing squid and a simpleton starfish. And there was also a kind of astronaut underwater squirrel and a Jamaican crab and all these wonderful characters. And I love SpongeBob. I've always loved SpongeBob. You know I'm talking about SpongeBob. Now, Wendy's, the US chain of burger restaurants, also love SpongeBob, and they're running a pretty cool campaign in the US and Canada right now. So obviously this story is not about financial blockades, it's about the Krabby Patty. So there's this recurring storyline in SpongeBob, many of you will be aware. There's a bad guy called Plankton, and he wants the recipe for Mr. Krabs' Krabby Patty. It's a delicious burger, right? Now, he never gets it. He never, well, spoiler alert, he never gets it. But somehow Wendy's has got it. And 25 years after SpongeBob launched, yes, they are going to be selling the Krabby Patty. It's called the Krabby Patty Collab Cheeseburger, and there's also a pineapple under the sea frosty flavoring. I guess that's a drink or an ice cream. And yeah, since October 8th, they've been running this promotion. So if you're lucky enough to have a Wendy's in your area, go and enjoy it. I've always been curious. What does a Krabby Patty taste like? Now, as a side note, a second little final little story here. Also tapping into nostalgia is Burger King have announced that they're partnering with MGM's The Addams Family for a Wednesday Whopper burger with a purple bun. Now, I think that's pretty cool. But that is enough internet for this week. That's enough news. Guys, if you've made it this far in the video and you're not yet subscribed, I mean, come on, what do we have to do? Tell me in the comments, what do I have to do? I'll do it to some extent. We are trying to grow this channel and provide value every week, and if you feel that we are, well, I would be so happy to call you a subscriber. If not, if you're not ready to click that button, hopefully you'll come back to the next video, and I will see you in the next episode. I'm Joseph, your presenter. This is Substream News. I'll see you soon, hopefully.